What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I want to give you guys an urgent market update as Bitcoin has gotten a little bit of a rip to the upside. Now, in today's video, I want to talk about this pump, where I think it could take us. Is it likely to continue to the upside? And I want to talk about those key levels of resistance above us, as well as some of the key levels of support. And at the end of the video, I want to talk about some bearish signals that we've been looking at on my live stream, as we actually have been anticipating this small move up in order to complete some bearish signals for a potential another move down. So I want to break down all this price action for you guys in today's market update. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So guys, here we are on the Bitcoin chart. This is the 4-hour time frame, and we are looking at a pretty nice pump to the upside here. Now, this is actually something we've been keeping an eye on my live stream at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which we do every single weekday. But as you guys know, if you watch the channel, we've been looking for a potential secondary push up here to put in some higher highs on price action. And if I go here and hide some of these levels, I actually want to talk about one of these levels specifically. And if you see here, we have our macro volume profile that we've been looking at for quite some time now. For anybody who's curious, I am still in my long position here, down from $25,250, and that one is paying out pretty good. Now, this was a setup we put in our premium Discord, or the kitchen as I like to call it, because that is where we make the sauce. But if you guys take anything away from this video, please just take away how the volume profiles perform, because a big reason we were looking to go long down here, other than the specific confirmations we were watching, we were simply looking to come down to the bottom of this range, deviate below our key level of support, letting us know that Bitcoin was relatively cheap compared to the relative price action, letting us know that we are likely to get sucked back into our area of balance, which is in this volume profile. And once we got above that level and we were able to hold above the value area low, we expected to come to the POC and eventually the value area high. However, as we've come up to the value area high on that big liquidation wick sitting right here, we actually were looking for something very specific on my live stream, and that was for a secondary high to come in here right at this value area high. And we were even looking for a potential deviation out of the range. And just like I was looking for long positions as we deviated below the range, as we deviate above, we could start to look for some bearish confirmations to look for a rejection back into the range and potentially all the way back down to the low. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But first, I want to talk about some of the levels above us in case we wind up getting a continued move up. I want to talk about the levels I'm looking at for some potential strong resistance to come in if we wind up coming above our last wick right here at about $30,675. And even if we break this yearly high, which I do think is a little less likely, but definitely not impossible. Now, before we get a little bit more into the bearish confirmations that we may or may not be seeing up here, I want to talk about this level that we actually wound up getting the rejection from, because it's a very, very interesting level. And I also want to talk about some of those levels above us in case we keep pumping. I want to talk about those levels of resistance that I'm looking at for a big potential rejection. So I want to pull up this chart, guys. Now, if you guys watch the channel, you will know that we have in the past been keeping our eye on this value area right here, with our value area high sitting at about $31,375 and that value area low coming in at about 28.650. Now, this is one of the main reasons why we were looking to short the top of our yearly high right here with our premium Discord. A lot of that had to do with the context of this volume profile. We were also able to predict a big dump here, as we knew if we lost this value area low, we were likely going to test some lower levels where we were looking for some long positions that are now paying us out. Now, as we approached back up to this area of balance, guys, this is simply just a volume profile, and we've been calling this our doorway to higher prices, because we know that once you are able to break above this value area low and flip it to support, that next likely place to go is going to be that point of control. That's right, shout out to Creighton C. We went right to that POC, we held support on the value area low, and as expected, we shot right up to that POC. And I do want to stress here, guys, this level and this area of balance has been reliable not only back here all the way in April and March, but also back here when we came back into this level in June and July, and then we left that value area and we are now back inside of it. And this range was actually pulled all the way back here from May of 2022. So these levels continue to get respected, and they continue to be our crystal ball to predict what price is going to do before it actually happens. So what happened was we got right above, let me come down to a little bit of a lower time frame. Let's go to the 1 hour. You can see we were able to get above that value area low. We tested it, got rejected, and then finally we came up, flipped it to support, and went straight to that point of control. And that is where we are currently seeing some rejections. And one thing I want to talk about here, guys, is now that we are accepted back into this range, this now opens up the opportunity to potentially come back up to our value area high, which is coming in at about $31,420. Now, it is unlikely that we will just immediately yeet up to that level. We want to remember that price action is messy, but typically, more often than not, these volume profiles wind up playing out. So even if we get a significant correction here, some of the key levels of support that I am looking at are going to be right here on this golden pocket 786 retracement level. That is also in pretty close confluence with our actual value area low, or macro value area low, at about 28.7K. So if we get a cool off here and we wind up rejecting, and we will be talking about the bearish signals that we're seeing form potentially up at these highs, but if we do wind up getting a rejection, some of those key levels are going to be this golden pocket retracement sitting at about 28.8K or 28.9K. Again, very close to another value area low that we have up here in the macro. And if we continue down, I will simply be looking for a bounce off of the actual value area low right here at 28.675. And then your 786 is also coming in at $28,592, making this a very confluent level to potentially get a bounce from. Now, if we actually go ahead, there is even more confluence at this level. If we go ahead and pull our volume profile, we've been looking at this local profile for a little while now, and you can see that the value area high of this actual range that we broke out of is sitting in perfect confluence with that golden pocket, giving us even more confluence at that level up here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this out as a level of support. And then also this could be extended all the way down to the value area low 786, which you can, whether you want to look at this as one giant range or two smaller ranges is totally up to you. But once we get down to that value area low, we then know that if we wind up coming down here and we get stuck below this value area low, not only are we losing the macro value area low, but we are also potentially getting accepted back into this range, and we could start to look for some lower targets down towards the value area low of that local range, closer to about 27,950. And guys, don't forget, if you want to keep up with these saucy levels and you don't want to miss any of these urgent market updates, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to keep up with the urgent market updates, make sure you click that notification bell. So those are some of the local levels of support that I am looking at right now, guys. But let's go ahead and talk about the likelihood of getting a rejection at these levels that we're sitting at right now. And as you guys know, again, if you watch the live streams, we were actually looking for a higher high to come in here on price action and a potential deviation out of the volume profile, giving us a potential bearish divergence here. Most specifically, we were looking at the 4 hour and the daily, and you can see right here that this bearish divergence is looking to print. It is not printing just yet, but if we see that red dot confirm on Market Cipher B and we're able to get that divergence, I will be looking for price to potentially correct to the downside, looking at some of those key levels we were just talking about. And the first major target is in very close confluence with those levels we were just talking about down here, closer to about 28.6, all the way down to about 28,300, and then closer to about 28K even. You can see those levels do actually match up with the levels on this chart because our macro POC is sitting at about 28K, so we do have some pretty good confluence if we get the rejection at this level. And you also want to remember, guys, just simply how the volume profiles behave, and that is simply that once you get above your value area high, you are looking at this as price being overvalued. This in between your volume profile is considered a fair price for the asset, right? That's why price likes to gravitate and stick around in these ranges, because this is what people have agreed is a fair price for Bitcoin. That's why when you get above your value area high, you are looking for shorts, as we were in our premium Discord, and that's how you can catch those super saucy short positions. And then when you deviate below your range, this is where you want to be looking for longs. And as you guys know, I am currently in this long position, up about 202%. We got $1,400 locked in, up another 738 on 20x leverage here on Femex. Shout out to Femex. If you guys want to sign up and get some potential trading bonuses here, you guys can check those links in the description if you're interested in signing up and getting some free trading funds. But guys, the point is here that when you're above the value area high, that is where you want to be looking for those saucy short positions. Then you want to look for the longs at the low and then the shorts at the high. And then, as you guys know, that position I just pulled up was down here from the lows of the range on the deviation from the value area low, and we are now back at the highs. So simply put, guys, we are going to be looking for those bearish confirmations up here to potentially get a cool off to the downside to some of those key levels I just brought up. And before I let you guys go, don't forget, on the daily time frame, we also could be setting up for a potential bearish divergence on this time frame as well. Although it is not as strong of an angle, we could still potentially see a bear div print here on the daily, which would be even more confirmation for a cool off to come. But we're not looking for this thing to go to zero, at least just yet, because our money flow does have a fresh crossover into the green, not only on the daily, but also the 4-hour, indicating that it is going to be locally more likely that if we do come down, that we will put in some form of a higher low and then continue up to some potential higher prices. And we took a look at some of those higher levels of resistance a little bit earlier in the video, but I do want to point out that we can be looking for a potential swing failure. If you guys have not seen my SFP tutorial videos that we put out the past 2 weekends, definitely go check them out. They're super educational and we've gotten some really good feedback on them. But if you wind up coming up a little bit higher here, I will be looking for a potential swing failure of this giant wick that we have up here. And if you don't know what a swing failure is, definitely go check out those videos. But real quick, if we come up, I will be looking for a wick above this level to potentially just come right back down, close our candle below that swing failure level, which is from this wick. And if we get that, that would indicate that we are likely to get some kind of a rejection. So if we do get some kind of crazy scam pump right back to the upside, and we don't come down from here, that's kind of the next thing I'm looking at locally. And with all that being said, guys, I hope you found this video educational, informative, or I don't know. I just hope you enjoyed it. But I think that's all the time I got for this market update. If you guys enjoy the content and you like these urgent market updates as price action moves and you want these saucy levels that we've been looking at, we look at them every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my live stream and in these urgent market updates. So with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these urgent updates and you don't miss any of those saucy key levels that may be able to make you some of that money. That's all I got, CandleMafia. I'll see you guys in the next one. Frankie Candles.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like